Morning, everyone. Welcome to our live webinar of eIMMIGRATION. My name is Vanessa Vargas, and on behalf of Cerenade, I want to welcome you to this training. Today's topic is avoiding stress and organize your practice with eIMMIGRATION. We hope that you learned something new today. And let's get started. So this is being recorded. You can watch the video in our YouTube channel later on. We also have a PowerPoint presentation that you can download if you click on handouts and you click to download my PowerPoint presentation. And the reason why is because I have different links that you want to click on later on to learn more about these features. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to properly create cases, how to use the reminders, so that you don't go crazy and again stress yourself, and just get an email, a text message to know what's going on, and also to keep track of your staff's productivity. You can use our process steps. Even if you're a solo practitioner, this feature is going to help you so much because you can get an email knowing that you have to complete a specific task. Okay, I'm going to show you what the activities are for. It's another feature that you will have in your package, and how you can check the case status updates via the document section if you enter the USCIS receipt. What else? We are going to talk about the dashboard. We call it Tickler. This is your general dashboard where you can see what's going on in general. In fact, I have that one as my default star page option. So I'll show you how to select that. I also want to show you how to customize your client overview and how to use the case overview so that you know exactly, you can see exactly what you need to see. Next, I'm going to show you what the alternate view is. If you haven't used it, you can, now if you go to the document section, you can see the activity for any time that you modify the profile via the alternate view. I also want to show you how to create your own questionnaires very briefly, and you can add translations as well. How you can send these questionnaires via a passwordless link. How to save time by using the defaults for the forms. And of course, we're going to talk about forms, and I'll give you a couple of tricks and shortcuts. My favorite feature is custom reports. I just feel like it's having like an assistant, especially if you are a nonprofit organization and you need to run reports. This is a must because you can save time and schedule the reports. If you haven't customized the letter templates, I also highly recommend you do that. And lastly, I'm going to show you how to create your package if you don't necessarily want to file online, although most people want to do that now since starting on April 1st, the filing fees are going to be lower, I think, if you do it online. But anyways, if you want to create a package through the document assembly, I'll show you how to do that, downloading or emailing it. Okay, all right, so let's begin. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, we are recording the training, so I don't want you to stress out and try to take a lot of notes. We have the PowerPoint presentation available, so you can watch that one. I mean, download it. Okay, so I am, wait a minute, is it not showing? What's going on? I am so sorry. This whole time you guys are not seeing my screen. No one told me that. Can you hear me? All right. Well, I'm glad it's Good Friday. All right. So let's confirm if you can see my screen. I was sharing my PowerPoint, and this is what I was showing. Let's go back. You should be able to see my screen now. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it says, all right, let me just launch a poll to make sure you guys are here and alive. So please click to vote and let me know if you are a new user or this is a refresher course for you. Great, thank you so much for voting and letting me know you can see my screen. All right, so let's continue. I'm gonna, oh, well, we got a 50-50, interesting. All right, so let's continue. So anyways, I encourage that you download the PowerPoint presentation. These are the links that I was showing you, and I already covered this. So again, we're gonna talk about all these features today. And later, I'm going to have a Q&A and go over resources and support for you in the upcoming training classes, okay? All right, now let me switch to my caseworker portal. Again, let me know if you have any questions. If you notice we have a chat, you can chat me your questions throughout the training, okay? All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is how to properly create a case. If you notice on the left, when you create a case or a client, right, this is where usually, and we recommend that you first create the contact. This contact could be a prospect, and I highly recommend, if you're not using the system to manage clients or cases, if you're just using it for forms, you are definitely missing out. The system eIMMIGRATION is a full practice management solution. So take advantage of that, use it as a CRM, track how many leads you have versus how many actual active clients you have. But anyways, you create the contact first. That's the recommendation, because when you have the client profile, you can start with the consultation, or ask questions. You can use the alternate view, which we're going to talk about today. But anyway, so you create the contact first. That's what we recommend, because it's easier when you create the case on the left hand side or on the right hand side, either or. When you click create case, it's going to ask you if you want to create the case for, and it has the name already linked instead of having to type or search. So that's why, and it's correctly linked to the right person. We have had incidents when clients created duplicates, and unfortunately they created the case under the wrong profile. So to avoid that, that's why I recommend going first to the contact profile and then creating the case. Another recommendation I want to give you, actually, before I show you that, maybe you don't have access to the admin, but your administrator should talk to whoever has access to the admin. If you click on settings and then you don't see admin, again, it means that you don't have access. But I want you to know or be aware that we have an administrator portal. Let me put it right here. The administrator portal is for customizations. And the reason why I want to go over that really quick right now is because when you are creating a case through this case wizard, you need to select the process. If you're new, you probably have seen that we have this list of processes by default. But what if you don't need all of these? What if maybe you're looking for asylum or TPS or naturalization? So you can customize this list. I highly recommend that you do that, because that way you can just click and go instead of having to scroll down through this list to find the process that you need on a daily basis. And the way you can customize those options are here in the administrator portal. If you go to case processes, think of it like I don't know, it's like the main area of the system, because this is where you choose the matter, and then based on the matter or type of process that you select, it will give you the forms checklist, the steps, the documents checklist, everything associated to that package. Okay, so I highly recommend that if you see something you don't need, you can just click select edit and disable it. You may want to use that in the future, so, or unless you know for sure your staff or your law firm, your organization is not going to use that at all, then just delete. Okay, let's see. Give me 1 second. All right, so let me see if you guys have any questions about this area. All right, I'll continue. If you have any questions about the administrator portal, let me know. I'm going to switch back. So this is how you create a case. You're going to select your location, or remember, you can have more than one department. Okay, I picked the process adjustment of status, and I have all these options. Again, you can customize them. If you haven't done that, just go to the administrator portal and again, look for program type. So anyway, so I can choose, hey, this is an adjustment of status, or this is in process, this is pending with NBC. I like the fact that you can customize these, so that if you need to run a report, how many of my cases are pending with NBC, it's a lot easier to find stuff. So remember, today we're going to try to help you avoid stress and organize your practice with eImmigration. And and customizing is a huge aspect. If you customize it now, I think the long-term benefit is exactly that. You're going to be organized and you're going to find exactly what you need a lot quicker with less effort. I don't know how many of you actually struggle with maintaining or keeping track with, like Excel manually. And so just do it backwards. You're going to enter the information and then the system will generate the Excel spreadsheet for you. All right, so the attorney that will transfer to the forms is selected. I'm going to click next. And then my client, she's a petitioner. My client's spouse is going to be the alien. I picked alien just because the form is expecting that alien. So that's why. But you could also do beneficiary or other. I'm going to click next. This is new. Now you can set up conditional rules for the specific process. Just go into the admin, click on case processes, and then you have them here, rules. If you have questions, we have a video on that in our YouTube channel. Okay, so here's the forms checklist. Again, another benefit of having the process already customized because I know exactly what I need to complete, and then that's how you create the case. Let me read a question someone just sent. Can you please explain what program type on the create case screen is used for? How is it different from process? Well, the thing is, let me go back to that area. You can have an adjustment of status, but different stages. So most likely, the majority of the time, our clients that are nonprofit organizations need to track about like grant types or program types. So that's why they use this drop-down menu. But if you're not a nonprofit and you need to use this drop-down menu for something else, my recommendation is that you use it for kind of like stages or phases of the case. It's completed, it's interrupted, in process, so you can run reports on like how many adjustment of status. So this is the actual matter type or process type, but this would be more like the phase or stage. Or again, you can use it for grant type or programs. So you can run reports and say how many of my AOS cases are on a grant number 2. Okay, and again, that's something that you would customize here in the admin where it says type of programs. In fact, if you don't like the word program type and you want to change that, you can go to messages under the admin. It's under tools. So I can change that and put program type, and I'm going to label that as, case, phase, or I don't know, stage. Uh, and then save it. So now if I refresh my screen, it should change that instead of program type, case, phase, or stage. All right, please let me know if you have any questions. All right, so we did get a question. Oh, thank you so much. Super helpful. I am glad. Yeah, so remember, if you change this when you contact us for support and you refer to the field as I'm on my case phase stage field, we're not gonna know. So that's the reason why we normally don't advertise that too much, because it can create confusion with your team or when with our team when contacting us for support. So just keep track of those labels, I guess, that you modify. In fact, before I get in trouble, I'll just remove mine and then nothing has happened here. Let's refresh. So and it's back to program type. All right, so let's continue. But that's how you create the case, that's how you properly create the case. So now you know exactly the process type, the case number, everything is already in place. Now, if you made a mistake and say, you know what, it wasn't an adjustment of status, or we need to now move that from AOS to something different, you could always update your process and either just change the name, but you don't make any changes, or you do change the name, but also add the forms and process steps and everything associated with the new process. So if I say, you know what, it's not an adjustment of status, it's now a naturalization, or like I can pick the process that will add to this. Okay, so a lot of clients, what they do is they create processes that are again in different phases, or so consultation phase, and then documentation gathering phase. And so they kind of like build their process as they go instead of having everything all together and at a time. So again, it's really up to you. And lastly, well, we don't really recommend doing this if you have worked on forms, but if you choose this option, you basically completely replace the the adjustment of status case with the new case that you select. So if I choose asylum and I click update, it will change the type of process, the forms, documents, everything. But now you know that's under basic information, under general info. Just click update. All right, so let me show you now reminders. How do I create a reminder? If I go to reminders and click add reminder, which by the way, you have the option to create a reminder at the case level, but you also have the option to create a contact reminder. All right, give me 1 second. Let's close this. So if I go to the contact profile and I click reminders, it's the same thing. It's just a different level. Give me 1 second because I'm reading a question. When creating a case, how do we add a non-case party as an authorized party, like when a client wants us to discuss a case with another person? That's a great question. So each client or, well, yeah, contact or client has a section for members. If I go to members and I click link member, I would create the contact for that authorized individual. It could be a consulting attorney, it could be a family member, such as a daughter, the spouse, a cousin, like anyone that needs to be linked, you are going to link the member. Okay. When you do that and you create the case, now remember, we have a section that says member access to this client's cases. So you have to make sure that you either give them access to all, or you just say on a case by case basis, I will just assign them to. Okay, that's up to you. But that's what this means, blocked, all, or assigned only. If I say the daughter can see Valeria's information if I share with Valeria, of course, it's not like they can log in into my portal. But if I want them to be just on an assigned basis, so then go to the case, click on case parties, and then link that daughter. I think her name was Adamari. So I'm gonna select and choose other. She's not a petitioner, she's not a beneficiary, not a derivative, just select other and link her. So if I need to share a form so that Adamari helps her mother complete or modify, review, Adamari needs to review a contract or anything, now she's part of the case as an other, which like you said, a non-case party. And for example, let's say we have a notification. It's a very important notification because we received an RFE. I don't know. So RFE received, please call us. I mean, just to give you an idea. So I want to share with the daughter as well. So now I can do that, not only with my client, but also the daughter. So I'm going to click save and close, and my client and her daughter can access the client portal. Remember, you guys have a client portal included. So if you give them permission to log in and they go to share logs, they can see that message that I just created for her under the case. It should be right here. RFE received, please call us. All right, so the daughter can do the same thing. Just give the daughter her own username and password. Okay, let me know if I answer your question, and thank you so much. All right, so let's go back to the reminders. The reminder is also a good example. For example, let me go to reminders and add the reminder. This is customizable. Again, if you haven't done it, please, I suggest that you go into your admin and go under type of reminders for the case or client. Because when you get an email or a text message, you don't want this to say, oh, you have a task. Yes, but tell me what task. Is it a court date or is it just a phone call? Or you can customize the type of reminders. Corte, like you can have your own consulta, like you can have your own categories. All right, so let's say that we do have to prepare a client for an interview. And we are planning on doing that preparation maybe next Friday, the 5th. But we want the client and her daughter to receive an email and a text message maybe the day before the preparation, right? Before our appointment. We're going to send that at 10 a.m. The text message and email is going to go out at 10 a.m. And I am sending this to the attorney, but all over here where it says other recipients, I click on the three dots and I can see the client section where I can select my client and her daughter. Okay, so both of them will get the text message, and I'm gonna click here to CC maybe the paralegal and again the daughter, although she doesn't have an email address, so we can just email the client. And of course, the message, tomorrow is your appointment for us to prepare you for the interview. I don't know. You get the idea. So save changes. Now, when this time arrives, at that time, I mean, on the 4th at 10, we will get the actual notification and the category be very specific. Okay, let me know if you guys have questions about that. Now, how do I track my staff's productivity, or how do I know what do I need to do? When you create a case and go to the process steps, you have a timeline or workflow. You should, and I mean, this is my recommendation, that you should modify this right away when you create the case, because this is your to-do list. So, like, it tells you what you need to do, and it's easier to just enter the dates so that you know, okay, we're gonna create the case and then we're gonna send the contract, process 50% down payment, send the invoice, blah blah blah. So you can change the time frame by default, and you can also modify the tasks, of course, the steps. You could delegate and say who's gonna do what. So Alfu is going to do this, Vanessa is going to. So if I need to create a payment plan on April 5th and I check this box and I haven't completed that, meaning I didn't check the box. So the system thinks you haven't done it and it will email this person. So I get an email reminder that day to tell me you have to do this. So I really like this feature because it tells me exactly what we have done and who did it. So it tells me the caseworker and the date when they finished that. All right, so let me know if you have any questions about process steps. Now, the process steps also show you like a progress. If you notice, I've done 13% of the case based on all these process steps. And you could share, if you want, you can share with your client by selecting the daughter, for example, and the client or the beneficiary. And when they go into their client portal, let me refresh. The client can see the status here. And again, this is up to you, but it allows them to see what we have done and what's started or what's not yet started. Okay, it's really up to you, but that's also a good way to avoid them calling you all the time, right? So that might add to the stress sometimes. So maybe here you go. This is what I've done, and wait. All right, so next we have process steps activities. The activities that are related to the process steps, for example, can help you automate things, such as it's time for me to send a questionnaire. All right, when do we need to send it? How about if we start today? We have 2 days to complete that, which means that we need to send the questionnaire by the 31st. Who's responsible to do that? And should they get an email reminder or not? Yes. Now, what if I want the system to perform an action on my behalf automatically? Great. So I can then create an activity. And it looks like we have one already that says when the process step starts, send the questionnaire. So technically, until I enter the date, which is today, the client should receive the questionnaire. So if I go to logs, no, not logs, sorry, documents, and it's over here under the contact, documents, questionnaires, and forms. So the questionnaire that the system sends, it's going to be reflected here. I don't have to send it manually. All right, so that is the purpose of using activities. All right, so I mean, it's taking, oh, there we go. All right, so see, although this was sent yesterday, maybe it didn't send it again because I had already sent it. All right, so speaking of data, how do you prefer to capture your client's information? Please click on the screen and vote. Sorry, I think we had an issue with the poll. It wasn't launching. Um, what's going on? Let me do it again. It should allow you to vote now. Okay, now I see votes coming in. All right, thank you for letting me know. For some reason on my end, it was frozen, like stuck, and I couldn't see that. No wonder no one was voting. All right, thank you so much for participating, and let's wait until the rest clicks on the screen. All right, let's see. How many of you? Perfect. So yeah, the majority of you do send the questionnaires to the clients. If you're new, that's great. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining. All right, so I'm gonna continue. Let me confirm that you guys can see my screen. Give me 1 second. Yes, all right, so you're back. So remember, if you want to save time, remember the idea today is like, how do I avoid stressing myself and organize my practice? Well, if you go to processes, excuse my dog's barking in the background. So I'm gonna go to the process and then click on process steps. And then these are the process steps by default. So here's where, for example, it's time for me to review the client documents and prepare the forms. Well, how about if I add an activity and schedule that in advance? So how about if I send the questionnaire when this process step starts or a day after, or so you can customize that. And this activity, if you're taking notes, just write down activities, although better yet, download my PowerPoint presentation because I have the links that you can click on, and I put the link for activities right here. So I want you to later feel comfortable, watching this video and also following the instructions because I know it's a lot of information to digest. But please take advantage of those features to save you time. Okay. All right. So let's continue. How do I check the status for my case if I have entered the receipt? So for this, I'm going to access a case that has a real receipt. Give me one quick second. Okay, so I go into the case profile. On the right-hand side, I click on Documents. And then on the left, I see Immigrant Visas and Notices. If you don't have a Times Tracker, I suggest that you get the USCIS Visa Bulletin Times Tracker module. It's one of our optional modules so that you get the email notification when the petition becomes current. Okay, if you click on this link, it will give you the status update. So it's checking against the USCIS processing or the USCIS website. So that way we get the update in both English or Spanish. And you can save that message to the logs. So give me 1 second. It's actually taking longer than usual. Hopefully it doesn't time out. Okay, here we go. All right, so I see the status of this receipt. I don't have to check on the website directly, and I can translate and I can copy this to the logs. So when I do that and I go to logs, now my staff, they don't have to go through that step. They just, they talk to the client. It looks like your case has been approved. Okay, that's how you can check the case status update. All right, what is a tickler? I briefly mentioned that earlier, but let me show you. It's over here on the left. You click on Tools, you go to Tickler, and what is a tickler? The tickler is your general dashboard. Earlier, we talked about reminders and process steps. We also have like expiration dates that we need to track. So again, to avoid stress and organize your practice, I highly recommend that you rely on the tickler. This gives you like an individual view versus a general view for all your caseworkers. Again, think of it like a helicopter view where I see everything that's going on, including my pending invoices that have, a balance. So I can, for example, let's say I can look at the reminders for the cases that are either -10 or the next 15 days. It tells me the type of category, when was this due, and who's responsible. Only the last past 10 days. So, or the next 15 days. So I can see who's responsible for what exactly, and I can delegate easily. Okay. Or you can also print these. If I, for example, forgot to complete these three, and I know we have already completed that. So we did that last Friday, and all three were done. I can just apply the changes for all these three at the same time. So you don't have to do one by one, okay? Because I know this probably drives people crazy that we have 1,801 overdue process steps. But again, imagine how stressful that attorney is. So if you want to save time and again, work ahead, like if I know my paralegal is not here, well, I know that we need to send a questionnaire, create a payment plan, prepare the 589 form. So it tells me what needs to be done and the dates, the target dates. Again, this allows you to prepare on time or delegate. And of course, what's being completed as well, or expiration dates. It looks like we've got 130 I-94s that are expired already, and I can contact the clients by clicking on the link and go straight to the profile to see the I-94 or passport, visa, RFEs. We've got, employment, like this is an RFE, EADs, 797. Like you have the ability to customize all these documents to track the expiration dates in a easier way. Or like again, if you are subscribed to billing, it tells you the invoice, what's the due date, and what's the balance. All right. So let's close this. So that is a tickler, but you can customize it. If you click on the right-hand side on the top, go to your user preferences, you're going to see on the right hand side tickler. So you can change your settings and the layout. Maybe my settings, I want a different chart bar. I want, instead of 10, I just want to see the last 5 days and the next 20 days, or I don't know, you can modify this. And you could also change the layout. You know what? When I create my own tickler, I want to see just case by process type, expiration date, cases per month, or I want to remove this box and I want to add something else. So again, you can just customize your tickler version or layout. Okay, let me know if you have any questions about this. I also want to show you what the custom client overview looks like and what is this for. When you access a contact profile, let me take you to the main window so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, this is a contact profile. There's a lot of information that I really don't need, at least right now. I just want to see what I care for. Like, give me a shortcut, which is this client overview. I probably just want to see the picture, the phone number, email, like preferred method of contact. Like, you have exactly what you want, reminders maybe by specific categories. So let me show you how to customize this section so that you know exactly, for example, show me just my logs, the recent logs, show me my appointments, invoices for this person that are past due, show me her passport. I mean, I'm just giving you an idea, but and then you can print it too. So how do I customize my client overview? If you click on settings, go to user preferences, and then go to client overview. So this is where you can add or remove areas or sections. All right, so maybe I don't need the passport information, so I'll remove. I don't need the I-94, at least not here, and not invoices. So now I'm just removing, or I can kind of like move that and say, you know what, remove this and add just a blank empty block. So it looks more clean, or, and the way that is, let me refresh and take you back. All right, so okay, let me take you back to the client overview. See, now I have an empty block on the right hand side, and I don't see the billing info or passport or I-94, so it's exactly what I need to see. So please, again, if you want to avoid stress and organize your practice, take advantage of those settings and customize your client overview. Let me know if I have a poll in progress. Mm, well, any questions at this point? Please let me know. All right, so thank you for those who are voting. I am going to share. So the majority of you say no, but we do have a high percentage of people that are going to, and I see the questions. So let me just answer these questions before we continue. Okay, so the question is, thanks for answering my previous question. Is there any way to add a custom role instead of other to be authorized communicator or something like that? No, unfortunately, there's no way to customize that drop-down menu. So it would have to be just other. Next question. Also, when I have a lot of separate timekeeper entries, can I move all of them at once to a case, or do I have to do it one by one? Um, you know what? I think it has to be one by one. Let me just show the rest of the participants what we're talking about. You are referring to this module timekeeper, and you have all these time entries. So we don't have, unfortunately, like a select all. You do have to, oops, this one's, you do have to move to the case or the client one by one. If it's something that you need professional assistance, you can contact over here, contact our technical support team and let them know that you might need them to do it for you. So basically, you just tell them from this to here, move it to client ABC. Okay, so they might have to do it on their end. I'm not saying it's not possible, at least not for you right now, but our staff can probably do it as a professional service. All right, let me know if you guys have any other questions. Let me see if I'm missing anything. No. Okay, let's continue. So the cases, let's go back to a case. The case window also has a case overview, but this one cannot be customized. This one is a great tool as well, because if I'm reviewing the case, what's been done, what type of case, who's working on it, the case parties, everything, how long we spend on forms, um, the logs, everything in one single place instead of having to switch to different sections. Um, it gives me all the reminders we have, also the documents we have received. What else? The letter templates, any notices, the receipt notice. All right, so make sure you use the case overview. Maybe you haven't seen this before, and that one is not customizable, just the client overview. Okay, so let's move on to the next section. What is the alternate view and how you can see what's been modified? Each contact, let's access a contact, right? When you are asking for information, you could send them a questionnaire, but if you want to type the information yourself, just go to alternate view and open the questionnaire and type the information yourself and on behalf of the client. Maybe you have them on the phone, you have them face to face. So I'll just change this to Valeria Argelia, I don't know. And then I'll just save it. I get this green bar when I click save. So now it's okay for me to just close the page without losing anything. All right, what I did, I modified her information, of course. And if I go to her documents and click on alternate view, I can see that it was updated today. All right, so we created this last year and we just modify it today. And it's going to show me that version. So even if after the fact I change this information, so if I say, you know what, no, client called and said it was Marie, I save it, but I always have proof of my alternate view. So go to the client profile, click on documents, and then click on the alternate view. See, it's highlighting it because it was modified. So if I click on that, it tells me what we have now versus what we had then. That's the purpose of that field of the, if you see it in red. So it will highlight the changes. Okay, so that's the alternate view. You could always print it, and I prefer to use the alternate view instead of typing on these sections or these fields, because if I type something and I don't save the changes and I move to a different section, I lose that information and I don't get a warning, okay? Versus if you are typing on the alternate view, let's go back. All right, so let's say I'm typing on the alternate view and I click close. I do get this warning that it tells me you have unsafe changes. Are you sure you want to close the form without? So I would just cancel and save. Anyway, so that's why I prefer the alternate view. Plus, it's just easier to see everything in one place versus one field at a time. And I have to switch, unless, of course, you are just dealing with biographic info, then it's, of course, easier for you to just go here, type it, save it, and then that's it. Okay. All right. Okay. How do I create my own questionnaires if I do want to send it to the client? Even though eImmigration has questionnaires in the system that you guys can use, some of them are, for example, biographic information, general information, these background questionnaires. So you can use what we have, but what if you want to create your own questionnaires? You need to access the administrator portal and access the custom form templates. And here on the right, you're going to see intake forms. Now remember, I am recording today's training, plus we have the option for you to get a private training because the least thing I want to do is stress you today. I don't want you to feel like you have to take notes like crazy. We are recording it. You can watch the video. You can download my PowerPoint and you can click on the links to learn how to do this. Okay, so please um, relax. All right, so let's go back. I went to the admin. I clicked on custom form templates and then I went to intake forms. Use what we have instead of starting from scratch. So if you go to system intake forms, you're going to see the ones that the system offers by default. So what you can do is use what we have, make a copy where it says select copy, and you can add or remove stuff. See, if I don't want to ask for their fax number, I'll just delete. If I want to ask for their parents' information, but I don't want to ask for every single thing, so I can just say, I need your parents' basic info, like literally when and where they were born, and that's it. Okay, and maybe the gender, but that's it. So when I ask for the parents' information, it's just going to be very basic. Same thing with the spouse, same thing with like, children information, or I want to ask for their previous addresses, but I don't need everything. So just the last 5 years. Again, and of course, and again, you can make this your own questionnaire. You can even add your own logo. Um, I don't know, like a submit button at the end. So this becomes like your own questionnaire with your logo, with questions that you want to ask, and a submit button at the end. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. If you add questions that you want to include, such as, is this the first time that you contact us? How did you hear about us? Blah, blah, blah. But that's a custom field that you might need to create. And then don't forget to map it or connect it to the system. So mapping means where in the system is this question name? Okay. Some of them, and of course you've seen that they have been mapped, right? But if it's a custom field that I haven't, that we don't have it in the system, then you just create or map it and create the custom field and select client custom field and then choose the field. Okay. Like, is this the first time that you're here? Anyway, so that way you can track the information and maybe even better populate the forms with it. Lastly, of course, you can add translations. So if you need to, maybe I don't want to ask for every single language, I just want to enable Spanish. And I can preview to make sure that everything's translating correctly. So my questions, let me just submit. My questions will be also available in Spanish. All right, let me know if you have questions about creating your own questionnaires. And how do I send this to my client as a passwordless link? Well, first of all, my client has given me her cell phone and her email address. I do have SMS included in my subscription. If you don't have it, you cannot send the questionnaire via text message. So what I'm going to do is create the questionnaire, send it to Valeria, and I'm going to say send this as a passwordless link. I'm going to choose the language because that's her preferred language, and I can also choose the questionnaire, the type of process. Okay, so if I pick that and I don't see any questionnaire, it's because I haven't customized this processes area. Okay, all right, let me go back. I'm gonna pick the option that says no process and select the questionnaire that I want to send. And I think I've sent this one already, so give me 1 second. It might be, yeah. If you see this message, you don't need to resend it. Client has already received it. So let me close this and pick a different, I'm going to say, I think her daughter might be a good example. I'm gonna go to members. All right, I'm gonna close this. All right, so I know the daughter has a cell phone, maybe not an email address. Let me use that one. Let's try again. Create questionnaire, send it to the daughter as a passwordless link. She prefers Spanish. We're gonna do an asylum, and of course not. What's going on? All right, I'll just pick this one, green card, and send that one or all of them. It's up to you. This is what I wanted to show you. How do I notify my client about this questionnaire? Okay, with the passwordless link, I need to send the link via text message, via email, or I can copy the link to the clipboard, meaning you can have WhatsApp web open in your browser and you can send the link via WhatsApp. I will send a traditional text message. I have up to 1,000 characters to use, and I don't want to show my name, so just Law Office of Cerenade and send the link. I could also send an email. Just make sure you copy the link and paste it in your message. In fact, if you haven't customized your letter templates, I highly recommend that you go into your admin portal and customize them here under letter templates. Why? Because the system allows you to customize these and use the tags so that when you send a message, for example, I want to send this nuevo cuestionario format template with my logo, and I want the system to auto-populate the date and the client's first name. Again, these tags can help you save time because they will personalize the message. Okay, so now when I'm sending the message to Adamari, instead of using the default, I can say nuevo cuestionario, and it's going to populate today's date and it populates her name. So again, if you haven't taken advantage of our letter templates, I highly recommend you do that. Anyway, so now I need to set up a reminder so my client receives a text message maybe once every 3 days or once a week. Say text message and stop sending the reminder after a few weeks. That's it. Obviously, if she completes the questionnaire, then no more reminders. All right, so how do I know if I send the questionnaire to her or not? Well, first of all, there's always a record under logs. Questionnaire by email by Vanessa. It tells me what I sent. Um, I mean, everything. Every time that you message a client, here's a text message as well. So it's already here. And this allows your team to be on the same page, instead of asking, like, did you send it? It's right here. Or also, I can go to documents and click on questionnaires and forms, and I can see that I sent the asylum questionnaire a few days ago, and today I sent this general information. Okay, so now client can complete the questionnaire and send it back to me. Let me log in as her just so that we can see what happens, right, when they complete a questionnaire. So let's see. Her name is Adamari, 1234. And when the client gets a link or she logs in into the client portal, whatever, um, however they want to access it, if they open the questionnaire, they're going to see the details that you have captured. So they can enter information, fix details. For example, this is incorrect. I'm going to modify this and then say send it back. Or I can also print a copy for my own records. So when the client submits, you get an email from us, and you also see this indicator. Look on the top right corner. Now it says 1. So that's your mailbox that shows questionnaires and forms. So we tell you the name of the client, we tell you the questionnaire and the dates. So you're gonna open, review the changes, because we tell you, again, what do we have in the system now versus what they changed. And you can either accept or reject. When you accept the questionnaire, the information updates and then it goes to the forms. Okay. I know we're almost done, so let me show you what happens with that data. I have the information. Now I want to populate the forms. Now remember, let me close all these. Remember, we created a contact profile. We have entered the information maybe via the alternate view or via the passwordless questionnaires. But again, at the end of the day, we have a contact profile with not just my client's information, but also the family members' data. Here's Adamari. And whatever we have in the system, let's take a look. Adamari's date of birth has been modified, updated, which means that it will transfer to the forms correctly. And when we create the case and we have the forms ready, right, then we can just open the form and the data will transfer to the form. Now, for example, this is Francisco's information. I can't really access his profile because I'm stuck in the form. So my recommendation, instead of opening the form right away, is that you click on the name of the person first so that you have access to a separate tab, either her information, or I can also click on the husband's name to open his profile to see his information. So again, you can have as many tabs as open as needed. Uh, and that way, when you open a form, let me open 765, I guess. See, the information on the left says alien info goes here. You can overwrite. You could also undo. You could add like a post-it, you know, you could type anywhere. So you have a lot of these tools that will help you save time, like, transferring information and overriding or shrinking information. Technically, the system creates an addendum automatically when you exceed the limit, okay? If you want to change something, for example, hey, I realized that his physical address is incorrect. Well, I can easily switch to his profile, go to his addresses, and change it here. That's the 456 Test Avenue. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to say this is for Francisco. And I'll just use this avenue for today's special day. All right, so then I'm going to switch back and refresh the screen. How do I do that? Over here, if I click select, replace, and click on his name, it will update the information. So now I don't have to retype it over and over again. Okay. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me see if I forgot. The last page where you have the additional entries, you can click on edit additional entries, and well, this one doesn't have any, but if there were any like additional employments or like children that didn't fit in the form, you can just select and then the system will auto-populate the numbers that correspond. Okay, those are the main form tools that we have, but again, please let me know if you have any questions. All right. Lastly, we have custom reports. Not every one of you have access to this module, but if you do, please take advantage of these reports. I, recommend you use them to save time. If you go to the admin, you can create any type of report. Okay. In fact, you may customize the ones that we have, just make a copy. But let's say that we have a report that shows all the logs that we entered today, and we want to send that to the attorney. So he doesn't have to check, or maybe just important notes for like, court hearings or like appointments. When you schedule a report, you can pick the report from here. Let's say, show me the cases that we created this week. So starting next Monday, we want to send a weekly Excel spreadsheet on Monday, and we're going to send it for maybe a year. Let's see, and who should we send this report to? It doesn't have to be a user. It could be your board of directors, your accounting department, anyone that has an email address. You can just send them the report automatically on a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly basis. So that's the custom reports module. And lastly, I know that I briefly mentioned e-filing. I'm not going to cover that today, but I want you to know that we do have e-filing in case you guys want to file forms online. But if you want to create a package and mail it, we have the document assembly. And the document assembly allows you to let me just, select AOS. So the document assembly allows you or helps you put together the package. You select the forms and the evidence and the cover letters. You just move them. So select on the left, move them with this bar, and you can drag and drop and say, well, this cover letter goes here, this passport goes here. So now that you have your package the way you want it, you can create the table of contents and the system updates the page numbers accordingly. So again, this is going to save you so much time and hopefully avoid stress. And now you can download the package with the footer caption and the footer page numbering. We didn't have this for downloading option, but you can now initiate the whole package, or you can email the package as well. So that's a document assembly. But remember, I have my PowerPoint presentation before you disconnect today. Click on handouts and get the PowerPoint so that you can click if you want to learn more about custom reports, if you want to learn more about how to schedule them. So just click on the links and it will take you to the corresponding video. Okay, so did you know we have a drag and drop the document folders, like how you can customize them, the timekeeper. So we have all these features that you're probably not aware of. So that's why we wanted to put this together so that you can click and learn more about how to use these features. And of course, you will have questions. That's normal. Please contact us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, except on holidays. You can email us. That's our email address. Also, on your home screen, you can click on technical support and even message our developers. We have a user's guide and we do these trainings for free on Fridays. We have a podcast and a Facebook page, and we have a YouTube channel that we ask that you please subscribe to. And these are the questions that you guys sent. What's the easiest way to collect data from prospects or actual clients? We recommend using the anonymous questionnaire. Let me quickly show you what I'm talking about. If you click on create questionnaire, you'll see that option here, anonymous questionnaire. So you can put that link on your social media, website, or send that bulk email. Have the prospect click on the link. When they click on the link, they can translate the questions, they complete this basic form, and they can proceed to complete a questionnaire. Instead of waiting for you to send the email or take the phone call, this is a must, if I may say, regarding like growing your practice and providing a good customer service. All right, so let's continue. And of course, for new leads, right? But for existing clients, you can send the passwordless intake form. What's the difference between activities and logs? Logs are notes or comments, and activities are automatic actions that you can predetermine and schedule in advance and by default. And so I put the links right here. How can we organize our firm with features we already have in eImmigration? So you can utilize reminders, as we talked about, from both contact and case profile, as well as the process steps for the workflow. But we also recommend the tickler, which is a dashboard. And if you are subscribed to the optional module custom reports, like I said, schedule them and receive that email automatically. These are the upcoming trainings for April. I can't believe it's March is gone. Anyways, I hope that you guys learned something new. Thank you so much for connecting, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. But yeah, we appreciate your time. We hope that you learned something new. And before you disconnect, just click on the last poll and let me know if your questions were addressed. I know some of you had questions, but I didn't really get them via the chat. But if you still have questions and you need support, you can contact us. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for voting. There's going to be a survey when you disconnect. We appreciate your feedback. And yeah, happy Easter and have a great day and have a great weekend. Take care.